That's cool. I love that. That was sick, dude. Thanks. I'm done. I'm so done. I'm done. I'm done for the night. I'm done for the day. I'm done forever. Okay? I'm done with this game. Good night, everybody. Seriously, fuck this. Fuck this game. Stupid fucking game, dude. Yeah, fuck this. All right, bye, guys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is the dating show. Why am I forgetting the name? Yeah, the dating show. Well, I think
Is that
so.
what we're going with?
Are we,
yeah, I thought we
with
either dating show or maintaining frame. I guess this is a relationship issue, so
yeah,
it's within the Sigma grind set envelope, shall we say?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
wasn't. I didn't know that Sigma Grindset could have been another show format.
You know what? I'm not blaming you for that.
Yeah.
I blame myself and my unquenchable desire to name things as things.
Yeah.
So, that's not your fault at all.
I accept that. Okay, so welcome to whatever this is.
Okay, the dating show. All right, let's just go with it. The dating show. Let's not induce existential angst in people. We are on the dating show, and we are going to talk about relationships in the context of dating. I know this isn't a dating relationship. In fact, I doubt they even have sex. So, is it really even a marriage? But
who knows?
Jada and Will, we're going to talk about it because it has something to do with relationships and men's issues, and the fact that, well, Jada is pretty obviously abusing Will Smith, and he looks like he's dead inside, to be honest. He doesn't look like he's doing well.
Yeah,
let me put that out there.
Yeah, let's take a look at that clip. And then I want to show a couple of other things. I think this, and look, I I think this adds additional, I don't know if context is the word I would use, but it gives you like a peek that, you know, this whole thing that everyone's talking about with regards to Will didn't come out of nowhere, obviously. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you, Allison, so that you can see and hear.
And while you're doing that, I'll just remind everybody that if you would like to send us a message that won't be eyeballed by the censors, you can do that at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. And one other benefit of that is that all of the monies that go through Just the Tip go to us because it's just the tip. And so go to feedthebadger.com/justthetip to put something in. I will be monitoring that, and you can write almost as much as you want, but please be somewhat moderate, because I don't know if we can read out the entire text of War and Peace on YouTube. I'm pretty sure there's some parts of War and Peace that would get us booted from YouTube.
Maybe just A Tale of Two Cities.
Just A Tale of Two Cities, yeah.
Yeah.
We could do that one, maybe. But anyway, it's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. And that's a really good way. And other than that, just wherever you are, you can send super chats through YouTube if you're on YouTube, or Rumble if you're on Rumble, we'll get them. But if you definitely have something you think, well, you know, I don't know. Will YouTube appreciate this comment? Will PayPal appreciate this comment? Then definitely go to feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Or if you have something that, you know, you want to give us a fairly large or substantial support, I would suggest feedthebadger.com/justthetip for that as well. All right, back to you, Brian.
All right. So join my stream. First thing we're going to do is look at the thing that, because, you know, Allison, you're the one who said we should talk about this and sent me this video that you guys have probably seen making the rounds on Twitter. So,
pretty damn significant, because it shows that it doesn't matter how alpha you are. I mean, all of the guys who talk about being alpha, I'm sorry, Will Smith is more alpha than you. It's more money, more fame, action star. I mean, I guess maybe a Navy SEAL. A Navy SEAL might be more alpha, but seriously, this guy is alpha, and it doesn't fucking matter when you're dealing with a woman.
All right.
I'm saying that. I don't know if I've offended a whole bunch of people, but
no. I mean, I have my thoughts on whether or not Will Smith would be considered alpha there's more to it, like the way I see it, because a lot of people who talk about being alpha, I don't think that men know what that means. And I think that's one of the things we've lost is what and I don't mean like we've lost what an alpha is. I mean like we've lost what it means to be a man, and why that there's more to it than simply hormones, biology, genetics, and evolution. That there is like an essence that's I think people have lost, and I think it's because we've been slamming and attacking and ridiculing and marginalizing men and masculinity for like 100 years, and I don't think that there's much. I mean, it still exists, but it's invisible to most people. But that's what I think right off the top. I'm just going off of that. But let's take a listen to this. So this is
maybe I should put it a different way.
Yeah, sure. He's high status. For sure.
Like he's high status. Okay, he's got money, he's got wealth, or he's got wealth. I don't need money. He probably could get any woman he wanted. No idea why he's with this one. And you know, he's in a position where the vast majority of men are not. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
even
he has a bunch of advantages.
Or red pill guys to whom the word alpha means something. This guy is above you by any metric, and he still struggles with being abused. And my point is that has nothing to do with being a man.
Yeah.
And the reason why I put that out is because guys have a vulnerability to the expectations and the emotions that are put on them by women. And I think they have a vulnerability that women don't necessarily have the other way around. And they have a vulnerability not just because there's an instinct to provide and protect for their woman and to make sure that she is okay. I mean, for God's sake, men have a pheromonal response to they have a hormonal response to the pheromones in women's tears. Like women are constantly signaling to men, and men are picking up those signals and conforming their attitudes about things. And when a woman is abusive, she's very much signaling how a man should feel about himself. And I'm not saying that men who are abusive to women, that's not bad, but there is some other biological components which can be really devastating to a man's sense of self, which is why for men and not for women, the biggest causal risk factor for suicide is a dysfunctional or broken or the end of a relationship. And that's not the case for women. Women don't die as a result of relationships breaking up. Men do. Men kill themselves over this because there is a vulnerability here, and it has nothing to do with being alpha. It may have a little bit to do with being a sigma, you know, because you're specifically working towards trying to minimize your emotional vulnerability. And not in a way that you don't, you know, fall in love, which is the other thing, you know. Like he probably still loves Jada, despite the behavior that she's engaging in, which, and that doesn't make him less of a man. Like the fact that he's devoted to her, he still wants to protect and provide for her, doesn't make him less of a man. It is her problem that she is abusive, is what I'm trying to get at, you know? And that any man can end up in this situation unless he's taking pains to try to reduce these vulnerabilities and protect himself and recognize that he can end up in this situation and not think he can vibrate alpha waves at women and somehow control them. Like, I've never seen a man successfully control a woman. I'm sure it does exist, but it is rare. Okay.
All right, well, let's take a look at the video. If you guys haven't seen this before, well, I'd like to hear thoughts, but...
So, Will, you know Esther Perel is coming to the table. She's going to be at the red table. Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me.
Oh, my goodness.
If you could film me.
Esther, come help us again, please. I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Don't. No, she,
What
yeah,
the
because she don't
fuck?
just.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. Like, this is the first time I've actually watched this. I've read like the stuff around it, but I want to give you guys an authentic response. Holy, like that is some serious please don't rape me body language he's giving off.
Mm-hmm.
And what does she do? Just keep pushing. And then she even delegitimates, like she's even describing his desire to put up boundaries as foolishness. Like she's not even allowing him the right to determine. Oh God, this is soul crushing, Brian.
Mm.
This is really freaking hard to watch.
It's well, you know, Will's body language. He looks very uncomfortable in this. Yeah. He didn't want to be put on camera. He didn't want his, you know, private life essentially put out on social media. And Jada doesn't have a problem with doing that. And I want to, you know, do you know what she means when she talks about the red table? You know what she means by that?
No, please inform me.
I'm going to show you after this is over. So first we're going to do this, and then I'm going to show you the red table. And I don't know if this happened after or before that, this video, because this sort of resurfaced and I didn't really know about it, you know, but I did know about the red table. It was like a interview podcast, whatever. I don't know what it was, but I'll show you after this is over.
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, you know, don't just start roll. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
Please watch us stare at the red table because she's helped us a lot. Can't you tell?
So he's in the background, you know, trying to hide. It's so weird. This is really strange.
This is like, what the hell is this relationship?
Hmm.
Like, I know I got a sort of freaky relationship, but this is, I don't even know what to say.
Well,
like if he's not comfortable being filmed, then you stop. You don't do it. You don't put it up.
Mm-hmm.
You take it down if you put it up. You know, she's basically walking all over his boundaries. There's no sense that he has a right to anything here. And also, I'm getting the impression of a frickin' Bond villain from her. Does nobody else see this?
Yeah, sure. She's, you know, she appeared. It's a impression. So I don't want to use it to pass judgment on her. But based on her behavior, it's not far off. So
yeah, and it's her behavior and her expression, which is an aspect of her behavior and how she presents herself and how she chooses to present herself. And it's also the fact that she has, like, this woman has villain levels, like almost caricature villain, like Cruella de Vil levels of incapability of understanding people's emotions.
I used to think that, like, that kind of cartoonish evil, you know, that you see in like children's cartoons was exaggerated specifically so that kids would see a clear delineation between good and evil. And I didn't think that people were actually capable of that, but I think people are actually capable of that.
When they feel like they're utterly in the right. That's the other thing. She feels
it's self-righteousness and pride, and brings that out in people.
Like, oh man, I don't even imagine how their relationship. He must spend most of his. It's like you know how they play that game. The floor is lava. For Will Smith. It's the floor is Jada. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me show you a little bit of the red table so that you have like a little bit of a better idea. Because I have a bunch of other. So what I want to do is I want to broaden this conversation to point to a patterns of abusive behavior within couples, like in the Jada Will thing, so that you guys can see. And I know some of you probably did know about this and you know, probably knew about it before the whole Chris Rock thing even happened, which is really just a symptom, you know. But then there are patterns outside of that, outside of this specific relationship that I'm seeing within the sort of like high status, very famous superstar men, and in particular black men. And I want to show you a couple of black men who have broken down in front of cameras, and they, you know, because of abuse that they suffered either from their mother, from their wife, or, you know, from a woman in their life, right? And there's way more examples than what I got. Way more. Like, you can just look at the kind of shit that's happened to football players and athletes. It's insane. And we've reported on it many times, okay? So this is a compilation. It's called Jada Pinkett Smith breaking Will Smith's heart for 4 minutes straight. So it's kind of cut up, but the full thing, you can probably find it, you know, online somewhere. Here's a clip of them sitting down talking about her cheating on Will Smith, basically. Okay.
You've been on a hell of a journey with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, there's people's feelings involved.
Right. Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's healing that needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So what happened, Jada?
Okay, so I think it was about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Started a friendship with August.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually became really, really good friends. Mm-hmm. And it all started with him just needing some help, you know.
So I gotta pause it there. So in case you guys don't remember, August was a friend of Will and Jada's son, Jaden. And August, I think he was in his 20s, he got involved sexually with Jada. And this is her basically telling him they had an affair. Okay? So that's and Will, of course, she's setting it all up like we gotta heal, and you know, it sounds a lot like after the 2020 election was like, okay, it's time for unity and healing. You know, we just called you monsters for 4 years. We treated you like shit, but now that we have all the power, hey, let's calm down on the violence and it's time to heal. That's literally this. He's being gaslit in front of us. I don't know if he goes along with this or not, but that's what's going on.
Me wanting to help his health, his
This is basically feminist marriage therapy. That's what the red table is, I think.
mental state. And we found all those different resources, you know, to help pull him through. And from there, you know, you and I were going through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
That particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Yeah. I really felt like we could be over. You
Yeah,
know?
no, we were
Over. And then what?
What?
No, I'm just like he had a brief moment of freedom. It was like a hope spot, you know. During the movie, they you've been fighting the monster, and you find like the cachet of health kits in the recharge packs for whatever thing you're using to fight the monster, and then the monster, you think that you've killed it, and the monster comes back. I think that was a hope spot for Will, that he might have escaped, but no, he was driven back by probably his own demons. All right.
No, we were
over.
So she even says we were over, right? This is, I think that's important, because that's a way of saying, this is why I'm not guilty of infidelity. Because, you know, I think that's what she's trying to do. But at the end of the day, I don't think she cares anyways. But,
And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, you know, I think from there, you know, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement.
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
And I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
That's what I said.
That's what I said, an entanglement, which means what?
Sex.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship.
Yes, it was a relationship.
This is so
Absolutely.
awkward.
We decided that we were going to
You know
separate
the
for-
idea of chemistry?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, but the idea, like, some people have a chemistry together because I guess they like each other. This is like reverse chemistry.
It's
What is
alchemy.
that? It's alchemy. It's occult alchemy.
Yeah, it's occult witchcraft.
It's terrifying. It is actually like you have couples where you're like, oh, it's so cute that they're together. You can feel the love. They're adorable. And then you have couples who, are a little standoffish, but you're like, yeah, they're probably okay when they're behind doors. And then you have this. This is like the reverse of chemistry. It's like you don't want these two together.
Yeah.
You want to somehow, get out the semaphore and just try to gesture Will to the exit. Get out of there. Here, run. Here it is.
Yeah.
I'll open the door for you. Get out. Like I said, it's a situation where you just don't want these two people to be together at all, in any sense. Reverse chemistry.
Yep.
We've discovered it.
Yeah.
Black alchemy.
Anti-chemistry. It's like taking a concoction and breaking it down to its base components, and they move away from each other as quickly as possible, like some kind of like reverse magnetic pull.
Magnetic repulsion. Some people have magnetic attraction. This is like magnetic repulsion on multiple levels.
Yeah. Okay, let us play a little bit more of this.
More self-aware than I was expecting.
Yeah, but I think he probably feels trapped because they have children, and I would bet that Will cares tremendously for his kids. I mean, he tried to jumpstart his son's career in film. I mean, it didn't quite work out, but he ended up doing a few movies. And I think that this, like, if this doesn't work out, he's going to end up like Tyrese Gibson, which I will show is another black actor who lost access to his daughter. And he had he emotionally broke down. It was hard to watch over it. And I think that Will just trying to avoid that fate. And I think that he's basically maybe it's a little bit overly charitable for me to say, because I also think that Will has some issues with his mother that, are unresolved. And I think that's why he's attracted to women like Jada, because Jada treats him like a child. She acts like a mother. And that's another thing I'm going to go into, because she did the same thing to Tupac when Tupac was alive. And there are parallels there. So very, very important. Nobody talks about Tupac because we think of him as this, like hard alpha gangster type because of the rap music he made. But you look at his personal life, Tupac has mommy issues, just like Will. And it just comes out in different ways. And it's partly because I don't think either of them knew their father, or they only heard bad things about their father. And their mothers were abusive, in and out of prison. Well, in Tupac's case, she was like connected to the Black Panthers or something. So, there's a lot of baggage there that is, I think, downstream from some root issues in the black population that are related to the absence of fathers and everything that led up to it and everything beyond it. But let us, go ahead.
I just wanted to point out, this may not be relevant, but she's wearing an ankh.
Yeah.
Egyptian symbolism.
Yeah. Maybe, but I think that's just pro-black shit. Like, there's like this pro-black, like, red, yellow, red, black, green thing where, you just wear or adorn yourself with Egyptian symbolism as just kind of a fuck you to, Western religion. I don't think that she's legitimately like, Egyptian. I think it's just like, oh, that's pretty. It's an ankh, but I don't know. I could be wrong. So
I don't think the Egyptians were black.
No, they weren't.
To say that?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
They were probably Semitic. So
yeah, they probably looked like Middle Eastern people. That's my. Yeah. I know that there's been like different research has gone into it, but like I said, there is a belief amongst the Hoteps that Egyptians were black, and there were some darker skinned Egyptians, but for the most part, maybe, I mean, again, if I'm being charitable, but for the most part, no, it's just Middle Eastern. But that's a whole other conversation about American black identity that I think is that could just be like,
I'm
its
pretty
own
sure they
show.
actually depicted the Nubian queen in like a hieroglyphs at one point.
Yeah.
So they were aware that there was a difference between, you know, the people who settled the Nile and other
Yeah, sure.
nationalities, I guess. I don't know if
Yeah.
they were nationalities at the time, but what ethnicities in the area.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a bit of an aside. I just noticed it.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
But yeah, like it could mean nothing, right?
Yeah, it could mean nothing, but then, you know, again, it's I don't know.
not
Anyway,
Christian.
let's play a little bit more. No, I don't think so.
Period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy.
I was in a lot of pain and I was very broken. Now, in the process of that relationship, I definitely realized that you can't find happiness outside of yourself. And luckily enough, you and I were also going through a process of healing in a much different manner. I would
During that time, launched into an interaction with August. What do you feel like you were looking for?
Just pausing it there. All right, let's listen to her answer.
This is excruciating.
Yeah, we don't have to watch the whole thing if you can't take it. Like,
No,
I wasn't planning
will,
on it, but
I will take this.
All
I will
right,
take
okay.
it, Brian. I'm just saying this is excruciating, and it's
yeah,
like, why would you do this in public?
that's
Why
the
would you
weird.
think that this is sensible to do in public?
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Like, I don't know why anyone thought this was going to be at all helpful to their marriage, because I think that's the reason given, but I don't think it is at all helpful to put your business out there like that and not deal with it, you know, behind closed doors. And the funny thing is that, of course, lots of women at the time that this came out sided with Jada. This is like, I know that today Jada is actually like looked upon with more scorn. But if you think about the fact that this is like, at least it's a year old, I think, this whole like entanglement thing. And what did we do? Like, well, what did most people do? They ridiculed Will for allowing this to happen and allowing himself to be screwed over like this and humiliated on television. And Jada was forgiven. At the very least, I think if she got criticism, it was for lying about, you know, using the word entanglement instead of using the word like fucking other people, you know. And they a lot of women sided with Jada on this. So
I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good.
Husband, now I got to be with you at the press conference.
You know
while
what's really interesting is she doesn't. Is there at any point does she talk about anyone's feelings but her own?
no, I don't think so. No.
I mean, I guess she has. And then the other thing is that she's like, something outside myself can't make me happy. That's really convenient because you go in, you destroy somebody's life or two somebody's, and then you come to the realization, well, I can't look for something outside myself to make me happy. And then you just walk away. You know, that's your realization.
Well,
And
a woman feeling good is apparently more important than anything else.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's not true.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay,
what she's
that's
saying. All right, let's keep going.
tell the world about your transgressions.
Well,
Like, I love my baby. I'm gonna stand by my baby no matter what.
no, I definitely
He's still trying to like, I don't know, like, I think he's in a spot, right? Because he probably wants to be angry. And I think he would have every right to do it. But he's like on TV. How's it gonna look if he yells at his wife? I mean, I know that you know, it doesn't bother me. But a lot of he's in a trap situation. So what he has to do is engage in self-deprecating behavior and laugh it off, even though it's probably killing him probably killed him on the inside. So
I think this man could do better.
Huh?
I think this man could do better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Okay.
I think he has self work to do, but yeah, he totally. I mean, he is like Jada. What was she in? Like, I haven't seen her work in like fucking since like the 90s, and I think she was on some show that nobody watched called Gotham, but that's it. Like, yeah, no, nobody.
Okay,
Nobody cares about her career.
It's not even an issue with career. Maybe he could find someone who recognizes that he exists as a person and has his own needs.
Yeah,
That would be nice. Like,
that would be a nice start.
But here's the thing, like, it's a false realization when she says, well, I can't look outside myself to find my happiness. And I was uncomfortable. I didn't feel good. Okay. All right. Well, let's apply your realization. You didn't feel good, and that's your responsibility. You going and hopping on another man's cock is you saying that it's Will's responsibility, not yours.
Yep.
This is the thing that we got into it with the other woman who's like, I'm not having satisfying sex. It's funny how this theme. So I asked my husband for an open relationship, and it's like, well, and then the person who was giving the advice said, oh yes, your happiness, or the man, another man with another situation, the man is responsible for himself and his happiness. The woman is not. And she even says that, yeah, I can't look for it. Well, if you can't look for it outside yourself, you're doing a damn poor job looking for it inside yourself. And in the process, you're hurting another human being.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't feel good, that's a you problem, not a Will problem. I mean, it might be a Will problem if Will is, and I from this behavior, I do not think that Will is in much of an imposition on her at all. If anything, doesn't impose enough. So I'm pretty sure that you not feeling good is a you problem, Jada. And yet you made it a Will problem and then decided that, oh, well, I'm going to go jump on another man's cock and that'll solve my problem. And it didn't, did it? Because it's a you problem.
Yep.
And you show no evidence of actually having come to that realization in a real and substantial way is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I think the kids are already fucked up too, by the way.
And she's just beaking off. Like, she's just beaking off about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. She can just do that. And like, generally, you know, didn't not destroy her career. Will, on the other hand, his career is over because of what happened at the Oscars. He's actually been banned from the Academy for like 10 years, and people are taking down like projects that were going to be like released or whatever, and they're delaying them or removing them completely. So his career has been harmed by this. He's fucked right now.
Also, I imagine that the next thing that she's going to do to recognize that happiness comes from within is to divorce him.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All
Simping
right.
doesn't pay. This is another
life lesson.
Yeah. This is another illustration of how if you must simp, you do so safely. And you must consider very carefully the woman you simp for. Practice
safe simpage.
Yes, practice safe simpage.
Be very selective.
Remember your ABCs of men's issues advocacy, and practice safe simpage. All right, let's go.
All right, let's play a little bit more.
Understand why it would look that way or feel that way, but I actually don't look at it as a transgression at all.
Wow, really?
What?
Yeah. Look, I know it looks like cheating, and it felt like cheating, and it involved your our son's friend. But I don't think it's a transgression. I don't think it's actually wrong, and I'm gonna let me explain why.
You can see him dying inside.
Yeah.
just the light is going out of his eyes. I'm not laughing. Like it's actually sort of horrifying. I know we might be laughing, but it's sort of like
it's a discomfort laugh.
It's a discomfort laugh. It's the laugh that you give before you get eaten by Cthulhu wearing a freaking clown wig. You know, it's like, I don't know what else to do here. You poor man. Oh, just look at his face. It's not even unhappiness or anger. It's just despair.
Yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, somebody.
It's bad.
Yeah, if Will Smith's family needs to make sure that this guy's on suicide watch.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. I think he does need to be. He needs people to check in on him, like his friend, like Denzel. Check in on Will Smith. All right.
Through that particular journey, I learned so much about myself and was able to really confront a lot of emotional immaturity, emotional insecurity, and I was really able to do some really deep healing. It was really a joy to just help heal somebody.
God, she's
really
like
deep healing. Yeah.
And the way her eyes move, it's not like when I say she looks like a Bond villain, it's also the way she looks. She's so predatory.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yep.
This woman is terrifying because she's destroying. She's like. I know you didn't watch Naked Lunch, but there's a scene where this gigantic.
I think you had me watch. You actually had me watch it when I was over your last time, or one of the last times I went to Saskatchewan to hang out with you guys. We were there for some
I
something.
could still travel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I no longer am able to. But...
You showed us the movie, but I swear I don't remember much except for a giant insect. I don't remember much.
Yeah, there was a giant insect eating a man.
Yeah.
Like she's literally that giant insect eating a man, and she's like, "This is so healing." Munch,
she looks
munch,
a bit
munch.
like a praying mantis. Yeah, you're right.
This is so healing. I feel like I'm really confronting the emptiness inside me by consuming you. You know, this. I'm finding this making me feel good. Just make you feel good. He's just crying tears because she's eating her, crying blood because she's eating his brain. It's disturbing because she's doing this thinking that she's a good person.
Yep.
And it's because her entire moral landscape revolves around her own happiness and nobody else's, and what makes her feel good, and that's it. Like there's no room for anyone else's point of view, anyone else's emotional needs. And in fact, she probably, considering that she dismisses that as foolishness when Will attempts to stand up for himself, she thinks that other people's emotional needs are just invalid. You know, they're just wrong. Yep. They just don't belong. I mean, she is an appalling human being. And now I'm curious how she got to this place. Like, and the funny thing is that she is completely and utterly insulated because men will tolerate every single bit of her bullshit. Every single bit of it. She can live an entire life where she literally thinks the world revolves around her happiness. Well, you know what, Jada Smith, Pinkett Smith? You're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably going to leave people who don't actually mourn you, but are actually relieved. That's going to be your legacy.
Whoa.
What?
No, nothing. I'm just reacting. All right, a little bit more of this.
Yeah.
Was that too brutal?
Because I wasn't sure I was ever going to speak to you again.
I know.
Yeah, like.
Oh Jesus! Why did you?
The fact that I'm speaking to you again is a miracle. I don't want to go through this no more.
Yeah, no,
yeah. I'm actually really curious about this now.
Yeah, curious about what? The whole thing?
Yeah, look at her facial expressions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, sure.
I mean, do you have to be so overtly evil? I have watched a lot of like feminists
Yeah. I
And
know.
even they don't come across as this overtly evil. I mean, they come
Yeah.
across like they're duping. They have some serious duping delight,
Yeah.
and like some serious smug liar face going on. But this woman actively looks evil.
Yeah.
She looks like she skins puppies for hobbies. Like, jeez, could you just dial it back? Could you get like a facial like coach or something and be like, just put a little bit of humanity into your features?
Yeah, I know. It's funny because she used to be like back in the late 80s, she used to be like beautiful. You know, like the kind of the Holly Berry, like high yellow, you know, little cream in her coffee, black female actress. You know, just like she was, but of course that doesn't mean that there wasn't some darkness inside of her even back then. It's just now it's harder to hide it. So she has like this maleficent angular face and the cheekbones and, you know, like the just, I get it is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to get you back first, and then...
You gonna get me back? I think you got me back. I think
How?
I think
How
we're good
did
on
you-
that. Okay.
How did he get her
Okay.
I
back?
wish.
Did he screw some woman?
We not that we know of. I mean, it's not like he couldn't have, but we don't know. Maybe they had an argument. Maybe they yelled at each other, got into a
How
fight.
did he get her back? Did he say, you know, this is unacceptable if you continue to have sex with other men? I'm not going to continue to be in a relationship. Like, there's no indication.
idea.
What did he? You got to schlep a man who's like what, 20 years younger than you? What did Will get out of this? Like, how did he get you back? The fact he was like, oh, by the way, that was wrong of you. Was that him getting you back? Like, do you have a pathological aversion to any kind of accountability? Like, this is what I'm seeing. Like, how did he get her back? I need to know this. This is information that is required. Because if he was running a train on like a bunch of starlets, I don't know if that's the right term to use. You know, if he was screwing a bunch of women, maybe, but apparently that we'd have no evidence of that. So how did Will get you back? What did he get out of this?
I think, I mean, you know, I think that she just, I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't know, but I don't even know if it matters because like she doesn't have any shame for what she did. So it doesn't matter if, like, you know, because that I think is the main issue, right? So, and if it didn't matter to them, by the way, then we wouldn't be like, you know, experiencing all the drama that's come recently out of it. Obviously, it does affect their relationship, and it obviously affected Will, and he took it out on someone else, someone who had nothing to do with what was really going on. And his inability to direct his ire or his displeasure or discontent with the person who caused his pain, and instead he just takes it out on some random guy because he made a joke. That's how, you know, that's why nothing is going to get solved. So it's just going to be more pain, more suffering. Albatross just gave us a super chat for $5 and says, do we know how many women Will got during his open marriage? How one-sided was all this entanglement stuff? Well, again, we don't know. I mean, like, people speculate on things, and it's obviously Will could do that, but that's not really the question. The question is, would he? I don't know if that's true. Because if they were both like banging other people, then why is this a big deal? I think that I don't know if that's the case. I know that people have speculated, but
I think if he was banging other women, this would have looked much different. And I don't even think she would have tolerated it.
Exactly.
Judging from what her behavior here, and I don't think it remain unmentioned, to be honest. Okay, so I just want to remind everybody to send tips to feedthebadger.com/ just the tip, and we'll read it out, and yeah, let's finish this off.
Okay.
You know, I wish that wasn't the case. I do. I wish that wasn't the
Hey, I
case.
sure wish it could be all magic and miracles.
Yeah.
Hey, that's probably
What the
true.
fuck
You
are they
know,
talking about?
but
She's basically saying, I wish that what I did didn't happen, or like, I don't know if she doesn't
no,
wish
I-
it happened, but
No, it's
maybe
the
that.
direct reference. No. The direct reference is to Will having gotten her back,
Oh,
and then she's like, I wish that wasn't the case, and I'm sure he wishes that you hadn't screwed this boy.
mhm.
I'm pretty sure that there's a significant age difference, right?
Between Jada and August, yes. So August was friends with Will and Jada's son, but I believe that when this happened, I don't know how old Jaden was, but August is like in his 20s, and I think he's a musician, like a rapper or something, or a singer.
So we're talking about
So-
a 20-30 year age difference.
Or I would say at least 20 years, yeah, at least.
Okay. All right. So she got herself a spring chicken, and no
Sprung chicken.
no actual information about how Will got her back. But now she's like, oh, I wish you hadn't.
Yeah.
Well, geez, I'm sure he does too. This is the most awkward conversation. This is like a conversation in which there is absolutely no connection, no revelation of anything, no catharsis, and no healing. Why are they even bothering to present this to people as anything but an exercise in being terrified?
Yeah, right. This is literally
like-
what the last thing people want to learn about their own relationships in the fashion that most people would least want it to come out, like on some publicly accessible for the world TV show. Like, no, this is the worst thing a man could experience, I think. Is one of them, I'll say that.
Well, okay, and the other thing is that does this Will having gotten Jade back, does this actually exist, or is this just in her mind to justify what she did?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because there's no details. There's just sort of like they're dancing around, they're gesturing. I see this behavior when people want to pretend something exists and it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he probably is pretending it exists because it's a little bit more soothing to his ego to think that he somehow got some equivalent thing from this situation as her screwing around with a man 20 years younger than him. Which, incidentally, that's gotta hurt too.
Mm-hmm.
You slow down as you get older, and your 40, 50-year-old wife going out and finding herself a 20-year-old, ride, that's gotta hurt.
Yep.
And it's just, but again, when they're talking about Will having gotten something, what was it? Because they're acting like they're just pretending it existed because it's emotionally necessary for her to feel like she doesn't owe him, is what I'm getting at. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. And I mean, like, the fact that they're like not being
Clear?
Yeah, they're not being clear. It only like serves to make it look more suspicious. This is almost over. I'm just gonna play like the rest of it.
And I don't think it's about getting anybody back.
No, for me it is.
Okay. I'll give you that petty if that's what you want.
My
but
God.
I will
Like
definitely
I said, well,
Yeah.
at least he's still got a sense of humor.
Yeah, well, what choice does he have?
Yeah, I know, but the despairing looks seem a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, I think she's willing to laugh along to give him the sense that he has control, but I don't
No,
think.
well, she just described it as petty. What is
Yeah.
screwing your son's friend? How do you describe that?
An entanglement, Allison. That's how you
I
describe
know,
it.
but here's the thing: like, it actually hasn't. what I've noticed is also interesting that she can describe Will getting that little jibe in as petty, but how has her infidelity been described throughout this entire thing? Euphemistically as an entanglement. Has it just been described in negative terms at all? Let me
No.
ask you that. No. Has
No.
he even described it in negative terms?
Nope.
Has he even described?
He called what she did with that other guy a relationship.
Yeah, but has he?
Yeah.
Does he even have the opportunity to say that it was petty? Like she's just called his quip petty, or
Yeah.
the opportunity to describe how it impacted him emotionally, her
Yeah.
betrayal.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing is that her saying, after having betrayed him, oh, well, happiness is something I give myself. After having enjoyed this, she's now going to deny that he has any ability to affect her happiness, that Will has any ability to affect her happiness. Is that, it's a difficult concept to describe, but it's such a violation. I can see it intuitively. I'm trying to express it in words. It's difficult, but it's like after she's gone and exteriorized her not being happy, she's now going back to him and saying, well, you can't make me happy. So I guess it's just up to me to make me happy.
Yep.
Anyway.
So just like 20 seconds left. I don't know if there's going to be any final interesting things here, but.
It's just part of it.
Yeah.
You know, if you expect to be with somebody for a lifetime.
25 years and counting.
We ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.
Okay.
Oh my God. This is so painful. This is so painful.
Did anybody actually say that? Like,
no.
Did they say like I'm not alien to awkwardness, you know?
No.
But this seems a little bit fucking awful. Like it's like this feels like, you know, when you're in like some kind of not a thriller, but not a horror, a psychological thriller, a psychological horror. This is like this is the conversations the married couples have just before they start killing each other in some sort of I don't know. And then the guy in the smoking jacket comes out and says, and this is why you don't repress your feelings about your partner. And you know, the woman is like got her husband's severed head and she's like consuming his neck or some shit. It's some kind of like deep, ugly horror film. This is the awkward conversation that indicates to everybody that some real bad shit's about to go down, is what I'm getting at. Is anyone picking it up? I don't know.
All right. So that's the Red Table. It's really just like a compilation of
painful.
Jada. It is painful. It is. And then we have this other thing. So here's a little bit extra context. So this is from Newsweek. And a photo of a letter written by Willow Smith. So Willow Smith is the daughter of Will and Jada Smith. Willow Smith released a hit song like years ago called I Whip My Hair Back and Forth. And she was also on track to being like a major celebrity, I guess, you know, as a part of that family. And what this thing made the rounds. It resurfaced. Let me close this here. It was a letter that Willow wrote to Tupac. So this letter was added to Instagram in 2012, according to Jorge Rivas at Color Lines. Willow, who was 11 years old at the time, reportedly added a picture of the letter to her Instagram in August of 2012. So this is way before. That's before the Red Table thing. That's before, obviously before the Oscars. And the post has since been deleted, but the internet never forgets. And this is what her letter it says, right? And she wrote this when she was 11. She wrote a letter to Tupac, who, by the way, was dead like for a while, So, and she says, "Dear Tupac, I know you are alive someplace. I think that my mommy really misses you. Can you please come back can you come back so mommy and me can be happy? I wish you were here. I really do. Love, Willow. Now, she's basically saying that she wants another man to come back into the life of her family, her and her mother specifically, while their father is in the home, right? Will Smith. Now, there is a chance, although I don't know, there is a chance, I wonder if Willow or Jaden or either of them are actually his kids. Because, like, if you think about it, like, they could be, so I'm not against that, but you also have to wonder, like, if they're, if she's pining for Tupac to enter their life like some missing father, you know, that she's been alienated from, you have to wonder, well, first of all, what kind of stuff was Jada telling Willow to do that? Because Willow didn't know Tupac. She didn't know him. So what's going on there? Because, you know, that's another thing too I was going to mention, is that Jada was dating Tupac. They had done like a movie together, Poetic Justice, I think. And I think they started dating after that. This was like in the early 90s or maybe the late 80s. And then Tupac died. And from what I understand, the word is that Jada never got over it. And she, even in her marriage to Will Smith, she felt like she was like, what is it? Like she had to settle, right? Because the guy she wanted to be with was dead. And so I think that what I'm getting at is that there are layers of problems here, patterns of abuse. And I think that like what Willow is expressing here is a lot more sinister and harmful than people are aware of. And then when you take on top of that, we'll talk briefly about Tupac, because I think that we ought to see the patterns, okay? Tupac was a mama's boy. And according to this article from Penn State, that is not a bad thing. But I wanted to explain that if any of you know about Tupac, you know that, you know, he had an image that he was putting out of, you know, like a gangster, and that, you know, and all these things. And it was sort of presenting a kind of a hyper masculine image, right? That was part of his brand, like many other hip hop artists. But Tupac was like 100% mama's boy. He had major issues with his mother. I don't think he knew his dad. And I think that why that's interesting to me, and I have a couple of other examples, Tyrese Gibson and Kanye West even, who also have issues with their mother and either don't know their father or for whatever reason are estranged from them. Just like Will Smith, just like Tupac, just like Dr. Dre. And so like, I think that those are the patterns that lead men to start, black men, to start relationships with women like Jada, who essentially behave as abusive mothers to them. And I think that is, that's kind of like the broader pattern that I wanted to put a finger onto so you guys can see that. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense or anything, but those are the yes. Patterns. So
yes.
And like Tupac's only song that has no cursing in it is one about his mother. Like his reverence for her was high enough that he basically said, I'm going to make this clean, and you know, the whole bit, right? So, and this is the thing, like a lot of men in the black population and in these like urban areas, you know, the Latino men and other kinds, I grew up there, they model themselves after men like Tupac because they think that's what a real man is. And so they model their behavior on that or other people in the industry that are similar to that. And I think that they think that what they're doing is masculine. And I think that a lot of women reward that, you know, in those communities. Oh yeah, that's masculine. And that it becomes the norm, you know, that kind of thing. But it isn't masculine. I think that if there's like, I think the traits that we probably would have recognized as positive examples of masculinity, like during the time of Greece or Rome or whatever looks it looks very different compared to what we think of masculinity today. And I think that there is a lot of positive masculinity in the world, but it's not acknowledged as such. And most of it is invisible, like just maintaining civilization, for example. And so like what happens is that I think these men who don't have fathers, they model their behavior off of other men who were raised by single mothers, and then they think that that's masculinity. And I think it isn't. I think it's why there's so much self-destructive behavior and so much, these unhealthy relationships of men hooking up with older women. Again, August was black and he hooked up with Jada. I don't know why he would have done that, right? Unless there's something going on with him as well. And within the rap industry especially, there is a lot of stories of black men who are in the music industry that have been preyed on by older relatives, like that are women, like aunts and cousins, and they have been sexually abused, molested, physically abused, and no one wants to talk about it. Obviously, it's like it's like you can't talk about this issue, but it definitely exists.
Yeah. And it definitely has an effect. I want to also point something out from this letter.
Yeah.
It indicates that Willow is taking responsibility for her mother's happiness. So not only is Jada sucking Will into this black hole, and she's entirely right. Like if she can't be happy, if she's not a person capable of happiness, no one can put that to her. But she's also sucking her daughter into it. And I'm guessing that she probably also makes her daughter feel like almost a denial of self. Like her daughter, that's not her responsibility. Her daughter's responsibility isn't to hook her mother up with some dude who she probably doesn't know, but her mother's probably talking about. Like, yeah. I don't even know what the hell's going on here, but this is evidence that she has made her daughter responsible for her happiness. And she's destroying more than Will. Mm-hmm. She's probably destroying her daughter and her son. And
she fucked his friend. I'm sure that, yeah. I think that he moved out of the house after that or something. So, Jaden didn't want to be around that, if I understand correctly.
I don't blame him. All right. So let's, so we've covered this. I hear that you have another video.
I do. I wanted to show, I have this article about Tupac's history, but I don't know if it's necessary. Anyone who knows about Tupac, you can leave us a comment and explain, what you think about that versus like what I've said. But I also have like some other examples. I just want to show, that I think this is another one of these things that's happening within the black population that no one wants to talk about. And it is like the pain and suffering that black men are experiencing because they're being, separated from their families or whatever. So this is Tyrese Gibson. You guys might know him from the Fast and the Furious movies. And he's talking about his daughter and how he wasn't able to see her. Okay. This video is only like 3 minutes. We don't even have to watch the whole thing if it's too painful to watch, but it is very emotional. He's like, breaking down here. So
this is all I got. This is all I got. Don't take my baby, okay? I've been away from my baby for 2 months. I just want my baby, and no one's listening because no one's in the courtroom. I'm not doing anything illegal. But I don't want nobody. Oh my God, am I doing something illegal by doing this video, or am I protected by the
All right, I'm just pausing it there.
Stop. All right.
Yeah.
So is this okay, I'm not really up on my names. Is this another?
His name is Tyrese Gibson. He's an actor, musician, like a singer, and he was losing custody of his daughter. and he went online. I think this was an Instagram video originally, and basically just broke down on camera, like desperate for help. And I want to show this. And there's one other. He was also a model. Yeah, thank you, Richard. He did those Coca-Cola commercials back in the day. I wanted to show this because, there is this illusion or facade of black men as these hyper stoic, hyper masculine men that's put out by the entertainment industry puts this out. So I'm not making the argument this is what regular people think. I'm saying that this is how they're presented. And yet when they have episodes like this on, these same institutions, they don't have anything to say. They don't offer any help. And, and of course he was made fun of for this video. I think it went around as a meme. So,
did he get any help?
I don't know.
Do you know?
I don't know.
A resolution to his situation?
No, as far as I don't know. Maybe somebody else in the chat knows, but I think that he kind of went off the grid for a while. So I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Not surprising. Because the thing is that nobody has any sympathy for this, for the emotions of men who are being torn apart by this. Like this is not okay. Human men have instincts around raising kids. They're pretty powerful. Mm-hmm. This is what it looks like when those get thwarted or cut or severed. It's not pleasant, but it doesn't make him less of a man. In fact, it makes him more human and more of a man, because that aspect of the fact that human men engage in paternal investment, and that is obligate. What that means is, outside of extremely artificial circumstances, human children don't survive without paternal investment. We live in extremely artificial circumstances. In any other era, or any era during the time we evolved, a child most likely would not be able to get to adulthood with just the resources, social and physical resources and protection resources of his mother. So we are obligate in that sense, in terms of paternal investment. And obligate carnivores can live on a vegan diet very poorly, but they can. All right?
Yeah.
There's no argument with that. And men have an entire suite of psychological features that adjust to the raising of children. And when you take their children away, you basically cut off part of them.
Yeah.
And the fact that our society would regard this as to be something to laugh at is horrifying to me.
Yeah.
It's basically laughing at torture. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, because the average person is incapable of compassion for men in many ways. And I know that sounds like an extreme statement, but I've listened to stories of families, and they're looking at this stuff like the Jada and Pink and
Willow
Smith stuff, and they have to make an effort not to see the pain of men. So normal people will make a literal effort to not see the pain of men. They will impose upon themselves to avoid it.
Yeah.
So, if it was a choice between actually seeing the pain of men and cutting off their own foot, that would actually be a reasonable choice for them. And it's disgusting. It is despicable. There is something profoundly wrong with the human heart. If we look at this and we mock it and we don't recognize it for the pain it is. Now, on the other hand, it probably is meme-worthy, and pretty much everything is meme-worthy. And as long as you're also memeing women when they're doing stuff like that, I guess at least you're engaging in equality. I don't want to censor people's humor.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, this isn't him not being a man. This is him being a man.
Yes. Exactly.
What he is crying over is the fact that he is unable to be a father to his children. The fact that men are fathers to their children are why we have computers, cities, infrastructure, airplanes. This suffering and the harnessing of this suffering and avoiding this suffering is why we have civilization. So you look at it and you realize that every speck of comfort in your wretched life is because men have instincts like this and have some goddamn respect.
Yeah, there's
That's
something
what I want to
else.
say to men for me. Yeah, you can add.
There was something else I wanted to add to, as part of these patterns of the reaction to viral videos like this one, like Tyrese Gibson, like the Will Smith Red Table one, like any other outbursts. I remember Mel Gibson went viral because he like was angry with his, I think it was his wife or girlfriend, and he left this like, I don't know, voice message, and of course she put it out in the world, and it got him in trouble. But I have another clip to show too, and it seems like when men become emotional and they break down, or you know, we see that they're in pain, I think that a lot of people's initial reaction is, oh, so and so, did you hear about so and so? They went crazy. Like that's what they say, right, about Kanye West, which I have right here. This is Kanye West, and he was doing a bid for the presidential election, I think in 2020, and at the time, he was talking about, I think it was a conversation about him considering getting an abortion with I believe it was Kim Kardashian. I don't really know. I think he was with her at the time. And he realizes that he almost killed his daughter. And this is what he's reacting to now. Because I guess they didn't go through with it or whatever, so.
My dad wanted to abort me. My mom saved my life. There would have been no Kanye West because my dad was too busy.
All right.
Yeah, that's getting into some wicked politics too.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that was not well received by the people who think that, you know, I guess abortions should come with free balloons or something. Yeah. Well, I mean, why is this wrong? Like, why, when these instincts get thwarted, or you start to get in, I guess, they start to take hold, and you realize something like this, like you almost destroyed this person that you love before you even came to love them. You know, why is that? Why is that something that's like people look at and they're like, oh wow, that's humiliating. That's embarrassing. Because it's a man.
I was gonna say, if a woman had a similar emotional break on some viral video or live stream or a show, I think there'd be an outpouring of sympathy, and people would try to understand her pain, etc. In all these cases, even though, you know, we could, you know, nitpick the specifics, you have men who want to be fathers, who may have felt like, in Kanye's case, he felt like he almost didn't exist. They want to be involved with their children. And Will does too. I think that Will stays with Jada because he's trying to keep the family together. I think it's fruitless. I don't think it's just gonna result in more suffering, and that he should like look for alternative solutions. But
yeah, and if
I
they're old
know
enough
what
to get
he's
out the
trying
house,
to do. Yeah, exactly.
If they're old enough to get out of the house, it's time for him to just be like, you know what? I am just gonna walk away. But maybe he can't. Like he just, it's sunk cost fallacy, or maybe he genuinely loves her, because men just,
I don't think
like
that's
that.
I get it. I don't know if I would call that love, but because I think that, you know, you could be struggling with some inability to imagine life without that person because you're so used to them. but it doesn't mean that you love them. It could also be because, like, you know, let's say that their relationship was always this kind of, I don't know. I would guess that it's like a mother and child type relationship. And I would guess that's the reason why she went on to bang other dudes, and the reason why she chose a dude that was much younger than her, because I think that she has a mother complex of some kind. And
Oh, I don't know what kind of mother she is, because it seems like she just is making other people responsible for
Yeah.
her emotions. Like that may be a mother complex, but she's certainly not acting like one. Like she's maybe acting like a dark mother that's consuming
like a devouring
everyone
mother.
around her.
Yeah.
Devouring mother, but she's not acting like you would assume somebody who is nurturing and wants the best for the people around them and is, you know, willing to sacrifice for that. You know, the maternal half of the paternal equation, shall we say, of the parental equation. She's not acting like that. Like it seems like she's more interested in the power or the control of that, and she's destroying the people around her in order to fill a hole. And like, she's not just destroying Will. I guarantee that Willow has some serious problems, and that letter indicates that Willow is taking responsibility for her mother's happiness. Yeah, that's not healthy, especially not in this context, especially if Willow's father is actually Will. Like, really? You are writing a letter to another man to tell him to come back into your mother's life? But you know, who knows? Maybe this is all very innocent, and she's like, "Oh, my mom's friends with you, and she really misses you." It's really weird. Like it.
Yeah, well, I think that Jada used to say that she felt as though like getting with Will was, there's Jada and Tupac. Getting with Will was like her like like settling down, like, oh well, I guess I got to take this. You know, and I think that she's actually said that, like,
how did Tupac like dodge this bullet?
He died, Allison.
Oh.
he was
by not dodging a bullet.
He was murdered. Yeah, he dodged a bullet by not dodging a bullet.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's go down to the comments there.
Okay, let's take a look at the comments.
Yeah, let's laugh at me, and then let's like.
Okay. Deborah Gordon, I truly cannot believe this child wrote this and had no respect for her father's feelings. Yeah, talking about Will. You all are correct. This family is in a deep state of undeniable depression, anxiety, and need Jesus more than anything. That's definitely a black woman. Yeah, somebody get Jesus right on that.
Yeah, like maybe they need more like Jesus's admonitions of how to conduct yourself in a way that's not psychotic.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Tasha K explained it best the other day on our live. Even though she is not my favorite blogger, she made so much sense about the situation. Jada was and still in love with Tupac. Will never live up to that, and he said it himself that he was jealous of their relationship. It's really sad when you could never live up to your wife's expectations all those years you guys have been together. Will Jada is a narcissist. She said she felt alive when she had the entanglement with August. So what's she really saying about Will? She feel numb being with him. Yeah, she's right.
Yeah.
This woman, she is a narcissist. She's probably borderline, and everything is about her emotional landscape. And I don't mean that in like, when people have depression, it can be quite exhausting for the people around them. She's actively harming the people around them. And it doesn't seem like she's really taking responsibility for her behavior. She's pretending to by saying things, well, nobody outside you can make you happy, but let me jump on this fresh new cock and see if it does. You know, like instead of actually repairing or dealing with her relationship with Will or showing any kind of genuine remorse.
Yep.
Genuine remorse for what she did, or recognizing the emotional impact on Will. Like, where is his emotions in all of this? Where is his ability to describe how he feels? Why can't he tell her how her infidelity made him feel in the way that she is able to tell him about how a simple little jab makes her feel. It's nowhere. It might get barky here.
It's okay.
Scipio has just
we
entered the building.
We can handle it. Jojo was crawling all over me to get fed, but I'm gonna make him wait.
I'm gonna be. Oh, sorry, guys.
Boy. That's
okay. The dog had to. He hasn't seen me for like, I don't know, 5 hours. So I'm the most exciting person in his life now, and I'm now also one of the most muddy people in his life. All right.
I just want to say, Night Motorcycle, he said that Tupac would have used Pimp Hand. It would have been super effective. That's exactly the thing that I'm trying to communicate, is that I don't think he would have. I think that we assume a lot about people like Tupac based on their image, but he would not have done that. Will Smith is not like more vulnerable to people like Jada by virtue of him being or having been a kind of, mainstream, clean musician that has like a good movie career. And while Tupac is sort of like was more of an edgy, gangster rapper, because at the end of the day, I think the reason why Jada liked them was because they were both very similar. And that's why, well, I don't know if she liked them, so there is also that. But yeah, I don't think that, just because Tupac is the gangster rapper doesn't mean that he would have been able to establish his boundaries with Jada any more than Will would have. I don't think I don't think we should assume that. Anyway, I don't know those guys personally, but I listened to a lot of Tupac back in the day. So
sorry, I had to
it's okay.
I had to say hi to my dog. I had to.
Sure.
There's no equivocation about it. All right. So yeah, I think there's one thing you can say about all of this. And I think we said it at the beginning. It doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how strong supposedly your pimp hand is.
Yep.
Women can destroy you.
Yep.
Or how popular you are. It just, so make sure that you choose a woman, you bring a woman into your life who's worthy of who at least takes responsibility for her effect on you. That I think that's really critical. If I want men to realize anything, it's that you have the right to make sure a woman will consider how you feel about things and will listen to how you feel. Because I didn't see any of that in that Jada Will conversation.
Yep.
There was no room for his feelings on this. And he absolutely 100% had the right to have room for, oh, Jesus. I don't even know why I have to say that. I mean, she's the one cheating on him.
Yeah.
Like how did we get to this point? And the other thing I want to point out is, she's doing this to Will. She's negating Will as a person. But I'm pretty sure she probably also did it to her daughter, which is why her daughter thinks she has to take responsibility for mama's well-being. So, I mean, this isn't just a situation where men are being harmed by our inability to make women take responsibility for their effects on others in a legitimate and genuine way, not in a I'm going to pretend like I'm responsible way. Just a second.
No problem.
So, we need to make women take responsibility for their effect on others. And that doesn't just harm men when we don't. It also harms girls. I know people mostly don't care about men and boys, but other women and girls are harmed by the fact that women aren't expected to take responsibility for their effect on others. And instead they play victim games in which it's okay, no matter what you do to another woman, it's okay as long as you can pretend that she is morally she's not virtue signaling correctly, or you are a victim of her somehow. It's like, no, there needs to be a proper external standard. And the woman said, I mean, when we laugh, we say she needs Jesus, but that's a shorthand for me saying she needs a proper external standard. This family needs a proper external standard that applies to all of them. And that is in Christianity. Like, mock it as much as you want. It does have a universal moral standard. It doesn't say, do not murder, but yeah, women can. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't screw around, but it's okay if women do. Don't covet thy brother's friend's hot ass. But no, that's okay if women do it. That's fine. It's a gender neutral universal admonition of moral responsibility that applies to women as well as men. And unfortunately, it seems like when we take God out of the equation, there's no higher power to appeal to than gynocentrism. So it all is like a race to the bottom, because we get into these Jada death spirals in which the woman's whatever it makes the woman happy is the moral good. Well, unfortunately, we don't have enough earths. We don't have enough resources on this earth. We would need I don't know how many earths to satisfy women.
Yeah.
If we are going to make our moral center of society making women happy, we don't have enough earths for that. We don't have enough earths for Jada. We need more earths of resources. Oh man, because that hole cannot be plugged. I got a message, by the way.
Yikes.
I got a super chow. Thank you,
All right.
Michael O. I'm going to read the super chow, and Scipio is also going to make his commentary known. All
Fair
right.
enough.
Michael O says, I view simping as a derogatory term which is directed at men but says something about the women involved, namely that these women do not deserve the positive treatment they get from their significant other. Please don't normalize simping, even if it looks like the norm due to modern women. Well, then we need another word for what men seem to do naturally and what a lot of men want to continue to do, which is to want to protect and provide for women and make them happy. I mean, this is the problem with men's issues advocacy. The average man is probably okay. I know this sounds horrible, but it's what I've observed, being unhappy as long as his family is happy and his woman is happy. Like this is something about men that I've observed, which is why they will accept terms like, ain't nobody happy if mama ain't happy. So you think women will accept those terms? No. But men do regularly. And they seem to take a lot of satisfaction in their female partner being happy.
Yep.
And which is why I say it's particularly nasty that Jada has, after having demonstrated to Will that he does not make her happy by jumping on another man's cock, she's now beaking off about how happiness is something you give yourself.
Yeah.
Like she's not even giving him the right to have not made her happy, if that makes sense, because that assumes that he could make her happy. He's not even giving her that. Like, oh. So I don't know, find another term for that behavior that men have where they would literally sacrifice their lives to protect and provide for women. They want to make women happy, even at the expense of their own happiness. And they to talk to them and say, hey, you need to stop that. It's like, well, this is what I want to do. It's like trying to talk, say, I don't know, pray the gay away or something. It's part of it's part of men's nature. And if we're going to move forward into a world that's more fair, we can't do that by saying to men, well, you just take responsibility for that part of your nature. You just stop doing that. And if you do it, it's your own fucking. Do you see how we're falling into that trap of hyper agency again? Instead of saying, okay, your responsibility is to find a woman who's worth, I don't know, what is that? Oh goodness, don't eat that. Sorry. Instead of it being your responsibility to find women who are decent, you have to completely get rid of that instinct entirely And most guys don't want to do that and probably don't understand how they'd even start. So where do you go with that? And find a term that's better than simping. Because what I'm trying to normalize is this idea that if a man simps, somehow it's his fault. Rather than exactly what you're saying, Michael O. Rather than recognizing that men will simp, it's women's fault for exploiting them. It's Jada's fault here. If Will is simping, it's Jada's fault for not telling him he has the right to have the boundaries, reasonable boundaries. It's Jada's fault for not giving him the room to have his own. It's Jada's fault for actually having somehow discovered that she can't be made happy by Will after attempting to be made happy by cheating on him. This is all her fault. It's not his fault because he's a quote unquote simp, because that's basically saying it's his fault because he's a man. Because all men want their women to be happy. All men want to protect and provide for women. And Will has managed to choose a woman who will exploit that to his grave. Okay? But that's not his fault. It's hers.
Yeah.
I mean, and if he had the ability to walk away without losing contact with his children, which I guess he does now, maybe it's more his fault. But maybe the first thing he needs to realize is that it isn't his fault. That way he can realize the necessary steps to protect himself. Okay, that's what I mean when I'm trying to quote unquote normalize simping. Anyway, I will leave it at that. Thank you for the super chow, Michael O. And the opportunity to argue with you. It's $10, so I appreciate that. I will check to see if there are any more. Are there any more on your end?
Yeah, I do. I have one. Senior Sticks gives us $2 and says, "What about the
emotional labor?"
and then puts a thinky face.
The emotional labor of what?
I think he's joking. Well, that's been up for a while. Like it could be Jada's. He could be sarcastic about Jada's position,
emotional labor. Yeah. Okay.
Jada's emotional labor. But again, we could try not to necessarily talk about the specific individuals, but rather the behavior and think about this, because I was watching a stream yesterday where a bunch of women were talking about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and they were talking about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing because I think they selected jury members today, and people were speculating on what's going to happen and all that. But they were talking about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing like there was something like unique about this, and that like regular men aren't going through the same thing every day. And I was in the chat like pointing it out, like, Johnny Depp he's famous. That's why he's going through this. That's why everyone knows about it. But men go through shit like this all the time. And it's like this, I cover it because a high profile case is a good way to talk about a normal thing that a lot of people experience that aren't famous. And it's just spilling over into like, the celebrity class. But it's obviously something that happens to everywhere, anywhere in the world, any country. It happens in India, it happens in Africa, it happens in Japan, it happens in Korea, it happens here in the United States. So like, it's not unique, and it's an opportunity to talk about it. But of course, I was angry with them because they were making it specific, like, oh, this is a unique thing. Like they talked about Marilyn Manson and how he was accused by his ex-girlfriend Evan Rachel Wood of like, being physically abused. There's no evidence of it. And even Rose McGowan came out and said, oh, well, when I was with Marilyn Manson, he was, nothing but an absolute gentleman. But I stand with Evan Rachel Wood because I stand with survivors. And of course, right, I was like, but there's no evidence, guys. Why are you just saying, oh, yeah, that makes sense? And not thinking, like, again, It's not because I feel like some sense of loyalty to Marilyn Manson. I don't. But he's a man. He has been accused of something awful. It's affecting him psychologically because when men are accused, it's painful. Like, I saw like Trump was doing a rally and he was like in Georgia and he talked about I'm sorry, he's being interviewed by another podcaster and he was talking about how traumatized Brett Kavanaugh was by the accusations against him, and Trump was like, I don't think he's ever going to be the same. And so like, obviously this stuff happens to people who are high profile, but you have to bear in mind that this happens to regular men who don't get like the same support, right? That no one knows their name. They suffer in silence. They keep it to themselves, and we all just move on, right? So I think it's important that we put a spotlight on these high profile examples so that we can look at it from a much more broad, perspective. That's why I'm saying like this stuff that's happening with Will, it's not unique. It's a big problem, and it's a big problem in the black population too. So
yeah, I probably should change the title to reflect that. But the other thing I wanted to point out is that it makes people realize that it doesn't matter how popular you are, how famous, how much money you have. Women have the ability to do this to any man.
Yep.
And you can talk about pimp hands and game and all of this other stuff. In many ways, it doesn't matter. Because unless the woman themselves has integrity, you can very easily end up in a relationship where you have no self, and no room to recognize your response, your emotional response to your wife having sex with a man 25 years younger than you. But she can tell you that your little jibe is petty.
Yep.
It is yeah. That's something I want to get across. I want people to realize that can happen to any man. And it doesn't happen to men because they're not men. It happens to men because they are men. Because that's literally what being a man is, right? Our society will say you're not a man if you don't provide, you're not a man if you don't protect, you're not a man if your woman isn't happy. So how come it's so confusing to us that men want to do these things and we call it simping when they do? See what I'm getting at? It's like we judge them by whether or not they do this. And then if there's any kind of negative fallout for them with the woman because she is violent or abusive or controlling, or she wants things that are unreasonable, we blame them for that. It's ridiculous. And we say, well, I don't simp.
Yeah.
Well, and even men's rights activists get into this. They dismiss the fact that this is something women are doing to men by blaming men for simping. Well, that's all men, honestly. It takes a lot to create a man that doesn't actually actively want to protect and provide for women and make them happy. It takes a lot to do that.
Yeah.
So blaming men for being exploited for being men, for the very things that you call being a man, is absurd. And it's ridiculous. And it's just another aspect of male expendability. So I don't know if that's normalizing the word simp or the behavior or whatever.
Yeah.
But ultimately, and I'm just trying to be funny when I say simp safely. But we need another word for it then. That just recognizes that this behavior is what built civilization. Okay? You want to mock men for simping? Well, enjoy. Let's imagine a civilization in which men didn't simp. I can tell you wouldn't be able to flush a toilet. You wouldn't have a house. You wouldn't have agriculture. You wouldn't have a freaking, what is it? The thing that's breaking down. Supply chain. You wouldn't have skyscrapers. You wouldn't have indoor plumbing. You wouldn't have central heating, you wouldn't have a computer. So give some respect to simping.
Yeah.
This is literally why we are the dominant animal on the damn planet.
Yep.
But also recognize that men have the right to kick Jada Smith to the curb.
Yep.
Okay.
I got a couple more super chats.
All right, I'll check to see if I have any more.
Okay. Josh Chasen gives us a Rumble rant for $1. Thank you, Josh Chasen. And he says, SW, I'm not really sure what that stands for. They'll never know what you sacrificed for them. Apparently, if the next movie is anything to go by, a multiverse of madness of Earths. Well, I mean, you need a lot of Earths for some of these women's egos. Meredith G gives us $5 and says, a lot of people blame Will for choosing Jada. We don't do the same thing when the genders are reversed. This is more complex than just simping. Yeah, I mean, we'll need another word for it, but yes. Obviously, there is that myth, or not myth, but that idea that, you know, men choose women just kind of ride the wave, I guess. Because they don't make choices, right? They don't do things. So, Allison, is there anything else coming in on the super chows?
Nope. No.
All right.
No more super chows. So once again, I mean, if you wanna give us a tip after the fact, you can also do that. I will endeavor to read out whatever you say on the next stream, and that is feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Thank you for Michael O for sending through a tip, and thank you to everybody else who sent through a Rumble and a super chat. Back to you, Brian.
Well, I think that we've sufficiently run roughshod over this topic. So we're gonna go ahead and close it out. If you guys enjoyed this video and you thought it was interesting, you know, conversation, perspective, give us a like, hit that thumbs up button, and give us a +1 Rumble over on Rumble. Remember, now we are going to be like, I'm going to try to prioritize Rumble over YouTube for now, because I do think, Jojo, don't. I do think that, you know, we should be like, you know, trying to migrate over to alternative media. So give us a follow and a subscription over at Rumble and on YouTube. If you're seeing this for the first time, it's fine. We're going to ride YouTube till the wheels come off. So, you know, no sweat there. So subscribe if you're not already subscribed to both of those places. Hit the bell for notifications so you know when our streams go live. And
it occurs to me we should probably have some pictures of like JoJo and Scipio so people can see what we're contending with.
Yeah, right.
And how adorable they are. Like
JoJo he's so pushy. When it's like he knows what time it is. He's like, I'm ready to eat now, motherfucker, you know, and he like pushes his head into my hands and on my lap, and then he climbs up on me. He's like, I think you can't see what I'm doing. You must not be paying attention. I'm ready to eat, you know.
Yes. My needs are paramount.
Yeah.
Just call me a small furry Jada.
Looks at me. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. And Scipio doesn't climb in my lap because he's too big. I think JoJo's like 60 pounds.
Yeah, he's like 60 pounns. Almost 70. Close to 70.
Scipio is probably pushing 100 now.
Yeah.
And he's still 9 months, so he's got more growth. But yeah, we should probably slap some video or something so people can know that we're not just randomly talking to ghosts in our heads.
Jojo, stop. No. Stay. Okay. Okay, so anyway, also, please leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about the show on Rumble and on YouTube and wherever you are. Twitch, I think we're streaming there, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And lastly, and most importantly, please share this video, especially if you know people who are in relationships that are similar or have been in one. That'd be something I would like to hear from you guys on. Do you know anyone who's been in a relationship like this? I do. I know a couple of guys who are in relationships with like sort of domineering, motherly figures that treated them like their kids and resented them, and then they ended up getting divorced. In fact, I don't know if I don't know of any of my friends, except for like one or two, who are still in a marriage. I think like almost all of my friends have either never been married or they got divorced and lost their kids. So yeah, so let us know if you guys know anyone, or if you yourself has been through a relationship like that before, and how are things going? What would you recommend? So yeah, please share this video. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's show. We are going to be doing an after show or a patron only show shortly. I want to talk about an encounter I had on my Facebook page and how weird and interesting it was. So please consider joining us there.
Give us some details.
Yeah, so I shared this meme. It was basically just like a OK Groomer meme, and it had like a bell curve with you know, it was like, it's a bell curve meme. So you have like the midwits in the middle defending, you know, the what's going on in schools, basically, which is the, you know, the idea that the schools own children and should therefore be able to teach them about sex and sexuality and bringing queer theory in and all these other things. And then on either end, you got like the really unintelligent people, and they're saying it's grooming, and then the highly intelligent people on the other end saying it's grooming. And I shared the meme. I didn't add any context. I didn't say anything. I just thought it was funny. And this woman came in, absolutely flipped out, called me like, you know, like a homophobe and all these things. And I just thought it was really interesting. Like it ended up going in a back and forth, and
Sounds
other
like
people
you got
were
a drive-by Karening.
Yeah, it was like, and then she DM'd me a bunch of shit and tried to call me homophobic, transphobic, and then she said things like parents should not have like authority over their children. It was absolutely insane. So I'm gonna look at it and we're gonna talk about it in the after show, because I think that
Internet
there is
drama. The very delicious,
but there is,
time.
I think there is something deeper going on with this person.
There's always something deeper.
Yeah, there's always something deeper. I don't know why anyone would think, oh yeah, the state should own kids. Like, absolutely. It's like, what? So, yeah, anyway, we're gonna close the show out here. Thanks, guys. Hope to see you in the after show, and we will talk to you all in the next one. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the news show, if not sooner than that. Have a good one, everybody.
Men's right activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.